Hello, Maxime. Welcome to LaunchDay.
Hey Dago, thanks and nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, so you are right in the middle of my interview day. You're call number 5. So you're the call where I have hope that now I have less because I have 8, and you're
Yeah,
like
okay. So
on
you're
the right
getting
side.
good.
Like, yeah, I start having some hope.
Nice.
Yeah. Um, and I just eat, so I will probably feel tired for 10 minutes, but then it will be better.
All
I'm
right.
sorry about that.
I'll do the
No, yeah, I'm
talking
just
then.
joking. Um, where are you from? Because you are French, obviously, and I'm just curious where you're from.
Yes, so I'm French from Paris. So I'm
Okay.
born and raised and grew up in Paris until I was 23. And then I moved to Singapore, where I'm still based officially. So yeah, I'm mainly based in Singapore, but being fully remote, I travel quite a fair bit of time. So I would say I spend half of the year in Singapore and half of the year abroad and coming back to France sometimes to see the family and the friends.
Okay, okay, cool. So you have residency, I guess, in Singapore, and then you move around. That's
Yes, that's
awesome.
right.
Singapore is quite expensive. That's why I didn't consider it but it seems awesome. It seems like once you get to a certain level and you can afford it, it seems like probably like the best place, like for everything, for taxes, but also for just like the quality of life seems awesome.
Yeah, the lifestyle is good there, so that's why I stay so long. But indeed, it's quite expensive. So I didn't come there as a solo unemployed founder, right? I came here
Yeah.
first as a student, and then I stayed, find my first job in startup, and the salary are quite competitive, and yeah, Singapore pays well, especially in startups. So yeah, I stayed there, met my
And
partner
what did
there.
you do? Were you like a developer? Or what was your
So
role?
no, so I'm not, by the way, disclaimer, I'm not a dev, right? So I don't code myself, even though
No.
I've been
Yeah.
managing since 7 years, since all the startup I've been, tech team, and I'm heavily involved into the product. So, oops, sorry. So I can understand like the coding, the structure, the architecture even of a database and on the backend. But I worked with a very sleek and lean team of like 3 freelancer, two devs, one front, one back, and one designer. And I operate this kind of like mini startup studio where I ship like a lot
Yeah.
of different startups until some pick up, like the latest one, Blockbuster, that we will talk about.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's how I operate. And yeah, going back to your first question, my first job in Singapore, it was to do that, like kind of a product, and I was actually the first employee of an insurtech startup there. And
Yeah.
so I had to do everything that was not related to insurance and learn from scratch everything related to like fundraising, product management, finding the right tech partners, whether those
And
are.
when you're working in startups like this, you basically have 10 roles in one. Like you
Yeah,
come for one
exactly.
role, but you end up doing 10 things. So you learn a
Exactly.
lot.
So I was doing also
Yeah.
like the automation, internal automation and operations, the first sales strategy, the go-to-market, the website, like the marketing, all the Google tag, like that can go deep, like infinitely. You can go deep
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Google always.
SEO, tracking, analytics. Yeah. I see that. Yeah. So like, and that's kind of like the cool thing when you're indie hacking, but even though that wasn't indie hacking, but like, so that's related. It's like, it's about being a generalist, it's like, that's how you grow the most, I guess,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Because I
So,
feel like, I mean, what's that taught me, I still use to this day, and I still feel confident about creating any project is because of that. Because I've done pretty much everything from scratch already, so I don't feel stopped or scared to launch something because I haven't done it. Because I know that okay, it's like everything I've done always. I will just like start from scratch if I don't know something, and just like
yeah.
step by step learn and
You
become
can
better.
figure it out. You're not intimidated by anything. Because, like, for example, some people, they're scared of dev because,
Mm,
like, okay, it's very intimidating. But since you
mhm.
have some experience with working with people, like, you know how much it's going to cost you, how much it's going to be. And so you can, you're less. Because that's like, when you're not a developer, I've noticed a lot of people have that problem. It's like they end up overpaying developers and they don't have what they need and it's not working out and it's super stressful for
Which
them
is
because
good
it's
for
so
the indie
expensive.
freelancers though.
Oh yeah, when you're
They can
indie
make
freelance,
good
yeah, it's
content.
always easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. There was a lot of talk about, oh, it's the end of like, you cannot find a job as a developer anymore. But like, it's just because I mean, big companies fired a lot of people, but like it seemed to me, and we had data on this, that we just went back to before COVID.
Mhm.
But before COVID, it was already freaking easy to find a job as a developer. It wasn't impossible at all. And so, I mean, maybe now with AI, it's going to change a bit more now. But yeah, I think as a developer, you still have a big edge and a bigger, it's so easy to find clients. So,
Yeah, I feel like it. And yeah, and I think all this trend, like lovable, that's just my personal take, right? We will see, but I think it scares a lot of builders, founders, and devs because you're like, okay, everyone's gonna build, so the competition is gonna be like very stiff. But I feel like it's good because the more builder mean like a lot of people will also need to scale more some projects. So there will always be like a need for devs and for product and for yeah any startup role.
and
So I agree with you. Yeah, I think it's
and there's also all this hype, it's kind of like there's too much hype about it. So it's kind of fake, like, oh, you can build anything. But who did actually build anything, that didn't have any skills? That is really great. It happens, but like it's still very uncommon. And
Mhm.
probably it works better for some products than some others. And so it's still like there's so much hype. Like when you see, like even when you're a developer like me, you're gonna see, oh yeah, look at this new update of like Cloud Code, and you use it, and you're gonna, and then you use it, and it's not that. It's good, but it's not the hype. And
Mm.
so there's so much hype around AI. It's also hard to know the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So,
fascinating, but the speed of how it
yeah.
progresses, it's crazy.
Okay, so you've been a generalist working at startups in Singapore. What's the journey to get to where you are now? What's the journey to starting your own things?
Yeah, so okay, so actually I told you I started like first employee of an insurtech startup. So I did my classes there, learning everything from startup. So I did the fundraising, I did and I was leading that like really from scratch. Like I don't know how to make a deck, I don't know what's a valuation, I don't know how to even evaluate a company and stuff. And I just learned
Yeah.
DIY on YouTube. Like there's a lot of content there. It's so great. Even before ChatGPT on YouTube, you can find like pretty much everything. So learn that. We raised funds. We could hire a team. I was really involved in the design of the first version of the product, finding the right team, finding the right operation system and automation from when, we have a lead to the nurturing campaign that goes after and stuff. So it was really great to learn all that was needed as a founder, basically. So stay there 3 years, but then the company was kind of like plateauing, couldn't really go up. So for like 1, 2 years, I didn't feel much evolution in my role anymore, and I thought it was a good time to leave and to start something else. And I was offered to be a co-founder for a crypto asset manager company in Singapore.
Oh my God.
Two
Yeah.
people super experimented in. Sorry, did you ask something?
No, no, it's just funny. Like crypto, that sounds a bit, scammy and fun. So I'm curious.
Yeah, well, if you're not in crypto, definitely it's gonna sound scammy. If you're a bit in crypto, like personally for your investment or because you've built on the blockchain, you start realizing that the blockchain is an interesting technology and you can achieve a lot of interesting things with it. So that's part of the crypto was interesting to me, much more than the finance part, to be honest. But yeah, I got this opportunity to join as a co-founder with a super good condition, good salary, good equity. The project was good. The founders, the other co-founders were solid, much more senior than me, coming from finance, like banking industry for like 20 years. So they knew everything about compliance, regulation,
Yeah.
trading, and have a good network as well. And so yeah, I joined to do exactly the same thing as I've implemented in my previous startup. Like okay, fundraising, starting from scratch, having a business model, having a website, a mobile app, finding the right dev team, finding the right designer, doing the design, the product, thinking, and all
Okay.
that. So
Okay.
I did that for about 1 year. And then I realized finance was not a fit for me personally. And also I grew even further that desire to really create my own, even not having like co-founders and really be full in control, right? So I launched
And
something
why
in
isn't that a
crypto.
fit? Why did you think finance wasn't a fit for you?
Because I feel it's too abstract, and I'm sure you would get that as a builder. When you build in finance, it's really abstract because the business model of an asset management fund in crypto is like taking people money, invest on their behalf, and getting them a return. But there's no real build. Uh, there's no really
Mm.
concrete, tangible product that you see the users using daily or that you see, user flow
Yes.
or stuff like this. It's very much just numbers. And that's the part that I feel was a bit pointless. Just
Yeah, it doesn't have to
working
be an app. It
longer.
could be an Excel sheet. Basically, the product could
Yeah,
just be an
yeah,
Excel sheet. Like technically,
exactly.
yeah.
And yeah, you're absolutely right. And most of the clients that we onboarded, even though we had an app, they went offline because it's more traditional process and stuff. So I mean, that's
Mm.
interesting to learn about new industry and new skill set. But yeah, definitely not the part that I get interested in the most. And you're basically selling numbers out of numbers. So something was feeling off, And I feel like building real product that you see user use daily, your
And
tool, you get much
and
more
at this
satisfied.
point, what were you thinking? What were you dreaming of building at this point? What were like the thing that made you think, okay, I'm leaving because I want to do something like? Because usually we have an idea, or like we have something, even though it's not what you do in the end. But sometimes that's what happens.
So you mean when I joined that crypto asset manager or when I left?
No, when you left, what was the vision?
So yeah, when I left, I had an idea in mind around NFT. So yeah, I was really in my deep crypto blockchain period. It was also
Yeah,
like end of 2021, 2022. So it was like
yeah. I did
crazy.
an NFT collection three
All
years
right.
ago,
So
and people thought I was gonna scam them, so I sold nothing. Yeah.
yeah,
So
like 99% of the NFT collection, unfortunately. But yeah, that was really like the thing everyone was talking about, and I was super interested in that. I did a lot of research about how to use so more about like the blockchain aspect of it, as I mentioned earlier, right? It was more to use
and
that
so
new
what's that?
technology.
Can you tell a little bit about it? Because I really don't
Yeah,
know,
so
so I'm just
quickly,
curious. Like,
what I really enjoyed is really like AI, right? Like what's so fun building with AI is like it's a new technology evolving so fast, and so there's so many things yet to be built. And for crypto blockchain, it felt the same. So the blockchain, basically like a crash course, it provides like a unified and certified and verified information on a decentralized network. So there are huge upsides of using the blockchain if you think about it. For everything that is, for example, passport or stuff, it's a very good example because a passport today is just a piece of paper with with a chip, right? And it feels so
yeah,
outdated because you can counterfeit, you can lose it, and someone can steal it, and it's just a piece of paper, right? While if this information, your passport is on the blockchain, it can be, I mean, your own passport can be on the blockchain only one time, so no one can ever do like a counterfeit of your passport. Um,
yes,
you can prove the ownership of your passport without even having to carry it physically. No one can prove ownership besides you. And yeah, shall you lose it or something, you can just update that information on the blockchain, and that will be updated and visible by anyone forever. So it's super easy to track and to
yeah. Okay,
to add
it's
some
really
real.
it's a cyber security thing, kind of. It's really like a
Yeah, there's
um,
a lot of use cases in the cybersecurity. And my initial project was like NFT for content creators. So it was not something I dreamt of since I was a kid, but I was really thinking about like what could be the blockchain application that can also make a good business. And I thought this one was ticking a lot of boxes. So it was basically for content creators or everyone with an audience, like influencers, creating NFT collection for them that could be earned or bought by their biggest fans, and each NFT would give like
Mhm.
perks to the fans, like a meetup in real life or through Zoom, getting some
Yeah.
dedicated product or stuff like this, or personal shout out for the birthday or stuff like this. So kind of a only fan without all the porn, sexy and and stuff part, and
Yeah.
on the
Okay.
blockchain, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, that's
it was
interesting.
like
Yeah.
this, and and actually it worked a bit. Like we did two big drops in Singapore, one with a super famous DJ. So that was a super fun adventure, right? But then right
Yeah, I
after,
bet. Yeah.
yeah, that was so cool. And I went with him on backstage in Singapore clubs and stuff. So that was good. And for a builder in Singapore, I really felt like, okay, I'm connecting with like Singapore local scene even more and stuff. So that was
Yeah.
interesting. But then NFT market like totally crashed. So everyone lost trust into NFTs and blockchain digital goods. So no one would ever buy like NFTs anymore. And content creators, when I pitched them saying like, yeah, we can do NFT collection, they stopped directly at NFT because for them it was like a scam. And also
Yeah.
for
Yeah. Yeah.
sure, like the business model was not perhaps as good as it could be like on
But
Web.
why do you think it crashed? Because I don't actually know why it crashed so bad. Because to
Because,
me, it
mm,
never seemed like something real. Like it's funny, people say it's a scam, but it's always been like about it's like digital collectibles or like digital art. Like no, it's not real value, you know.
yeah.
And so it's never been, and it's fine. But it seemed like people like eventually woke up like, but it's just not real like yeah, of course it's not, you know.
Yeah,
So I
I
don't
guess
know
it
what
was
happened. You
just,
think?
I guess it was just a little hype, you know, like there was a huge hype which drove up the price like crazy, and then the hype faded because the art is still the same and the properties are still the same. It's just the hype that fade and the value that people gave to NFT also faded. And also we thought, and me too, very much to be honest, that NFT adoption would be much more massive, right? And we saw like Twitter back in the days, they started
Yes, you could
implementing
have
like
NFT
NFT.
profile
Yeah,
pic. I remember that was
exactly
so
right.
cool.
So it was like a big thing. Everyone was talking about this. The biggest companies like OpenSea, the NFT marketplace, and others, they were
Yeah.
like killing it. So we were just also hyped, thinking like, wow, it's gonna keep going like this, and adoption has just started, and it will be even much bigger in a short while. But actually, the opposite happened, and even Twitter they rolled back their
Yeah,
profile
you
picture,
can't
and
even
you
do
can't
that
do
because
that
basically, for people who don't remember, that was 3 years ago. You could have like an hexagon profile pic
anymore.
instead of circle if you had the NFT, and that was a link to your NFT image. That was super cool. But
Yeah.
it's funny you talk about this because every time I see like new people come and they're new in the industry, everybody's jumping on the new hype,
Hmm.
but they don't know this because I remember this time we all thought NFT was gonna be like you they had lots of critics, but it seemed like obvious. Blockchain, NFT, everything seemed so it was gonna be that, you know, it was obvious.
Mm.
And then it crashes. And I think like some for example, right now with AI, I'm not saying AI will crash because it's a different thing. It's
Mm.
solving problems differently, but still I think it's super hyped and
Yeah.
probably overhyped. And people don't realize if you just, you know, it's a big risk also, you know. And so that's
Mm.
like there's so many things like this, you know.
Yeah.
Everything goes through a hype phase and then down because even if AI stays, the hype will probably not stay eventually. You know,
Mm.
it will just be something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
or maybe I'm wrong. But like all I'm saying is there is always uncertainty. But when there is hype and everybody believes it, you think
Mhm.
it's certain. It's 100% certain, but it never
Yeah.
is.
You become totally biased, and you feel like you're invisible basically in your hype and stuff. But yeah, let's see. AI seems to me personally much more solid and much more here to stay. And the fast of it, the speed of iteration, as we discussed briefly, is like crazy. And I think we're just scratching the surface of like what we can do with agents and stuff. There's gonna be like huge waves, plus that implementing in robotics and stuff. I mean, perhaps I agree. We never know if the hype will fade and when, but I think there's still a solid, a long time to go with the hype.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't know. I use it all the time. I only code with this now. I use it all the time. I pay for Claude and everything,
Mhm.
and also ChatGPT. But I think it's possible. For example, because we don't have the same things. Like when there's a new model, it doesn't seem groundbreaking now, and they're always trying to hype it more. And it's possible we reach like the end of one phase, and maybe it's not gonna get better. Actually, it even gets a bit worse because they have to realize, oh, we need to make money now. So they make it less powerful so they can make more money.
Yeah, I saw.
So, yeah.
That is crazy. Let's see how it plays out. But yeah, so going back to the
So,
yeah,
yeah.
going back to that project. So yeah, I started like this, and I started with again that same playbook that I knew I've totally unlocked, which is like, okay, starting solo, finding the right team, raising funds. So I raised initially for this NFT project around like 500K USD.
Yeah.
I was okay to hire, to spend more, to structure things, and I did a lot of like solo founder rookie mistakes, like overspending, hiring too many people too fast, spending too much on branding, which is I feel now totally unnecessary until you are at like 10K MRR. So
Yeah.
to tell you a few funny anecdotes, like on the branding, I think I spent like so it started easy with like $500 on the logo, and then on the graphic chart a bit more with the agency, you know, because I wanted it to be fancy. And I'm like, okay, this is the one. That idea is gonna take me to the next
Yeah.
5 years, and 100% is gonna be a unicorn, right? So I
It's
was
funny, like
worth it.
we don't invest in branding because we think, oh, it's a good move. We invest in branding because we are convinced it's gonna be a successful idea.
Yeah, I
So
mean it's
then
a
you
bit of
think, well,
both.
it should look good because
Yeah.
it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's because
Because
you
you don't
believe too
think,
much is
yeah,
working even before having validating anything because you have
yeah,
some
yeah, yeah,
conviction that your project is going to blow up, that you're like, okay, I will increase the speed of this blowing up and increase the conversion rate and stuff by having like a strong branding and a super nice
yeah, yeah,
UX and stuff. So yeah, I did that. I even like did some physical business cards for NFT project because it was part of
wow,
the package. I could just top up a little bit, $100 to get business card. I was like, okay, yeah, of course, let's have everything. I did some t-shirts,
oh my God.
like something around
They
200
saw
t-shirts.
you coming. They were like, "Yeah, we're gonna get this guy.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
saw
yeah.
you.
Most
We're gonna sell him business cards. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
No, I
it
get
was
it.
different stuff. T-shirts, I went on
Yeah.
Vistaprint and stuff, stickers. So I ordered like something like 200 t-shirts. And 9 months
Wow.
after, I pivoted, right, and changed the branding completely. And I still have at home like 180 t-shirts unused, right? So that's like
Yeah.
part of the all the early mistakes. But yeah, ultimately, NFT crashed, couldn't find any more content creators willing to trust that. Also, the business model was not so great, to be frank. I realized that after. So after 9 months, I switched, totally pivoted to something else. And that pivot was like the best decision, right? Because it gives us, with the team, more momentum, renewed energy. I felt super stuck, keeping going on the NFT content creators, feeling
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it's not working out. I was starting to burn out like very slowly, right? It was not a real burnout, but it was hard to get motivation
But
on a daily
it's
basis.
scary. It's scary to pivot, but then once you do it, it can be very
Oh,
liberating also.
it was liberating. Like, really, I felt like freedom. Like, okay, I don't have to,
Yeah.
fight my mind about how I'm gonna make this work. No, it just doesn't work, and let's move on and let's have a clear vision again and stuff like this. So that new pivot didn't work best, but at least I unlocked the fact that I could pivot and I could successfully do so. And so after 6 months in the next project that was still in crypto, I pivoted again to something else in crypto, then took 4 months only to pivot again. So every time I kept pivoting, and every time it was a
Yeah.
shorter time to the pivot. And that led me to
Wow.
realize at some point, okay, actually, I'm going to be much more agile if so I basically all the team went off, so I had to let them go because there was no more cash anymore, right? The 500K
Yeah.
was totally burned.
Yeah.
And also the project was too different, so their skill set was not were not like relevant anymore. So I
Or
was a bit,
you only need generalists at that stage, people who can do
yeah,
everything, kind of.
kind of, and I
Yeah.
needed like tech and stuff, but everyone needs to have like the startup mindset and crazy ambition and crazy
Mm.
energy and stuff. So I trimmed down the
So
team.
at this point, what you told me, like you had 20K left or something,
Yeah.
and then you went back up. So how did that go? Did you do it alone?
Yeah, so I had like 20K left and I kept only the same team as I worked with still today. So that freelancers, outsourced, two freelancers dev, one front, one back, and one designer part-time, right? So very
Okay.
lean cost structure. The dev are outsourced in Southeast Asia. So very competitive as well, pricing for me. So I could really lower the burn rate, not spend too much a month, and just keep going with those 20K. That would give us like good runway to, if we were in this mindset that we totally officialized, saying like, okay, we're gonna launch in like 4 to 6 weeks maximum.
Yeah, yeah.
Start validating with revenue, see what sticks. If that sticks, okay, we stay and we double down. If that doesn't, we kill immediately and we start something new, right? Because I've done it
And so
with
what
so many
and so
pivots.
what was the idea at this point?
Yeah, so the idea was just to get a maximum of idea and to launch it for 6 weeks. And so I started by doing, yeah, and also a very important thing at this stage when I was pivoting so fast, I was deeply convinced that this is the right way to do so. So then I don't waste time on a project that doesn't work, waste time, waste
Yeah.
resources and stuff. So I was deeply convinced of that. But it seems super odd in Singapore in the startup scene and stuff. No one does that. It's so unconventional. And then, like,
It's more VC based. It's more like big founding. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And even in startup in France or startup clusters outside of Twitter, they're very much more traditional, right? They don't pivot as
Yeah, yeah,
fast.
no, 100%. It's actually not that many people who use this approach, for sure.
Yeah, exactly
Yeah.
right. And so randomly, I found a product of Mark Lu, that you know very well, Ship Fast. And it was really the beginning. And I found it on AppSumo totally randomly because once in a month, I go on AppSumo, check like the deals and stuff. And so I found that. I was, who is this guy, Mark Lu? What is Ship Fast? And who is this guy? I see he puts his Twitter link on the product. So I went on Twitter that I barely used at the time. And then I realized there is this whole community of like Hindi hacker and founders and solo founders also on X, Twitter. And that was like so great to see that. And I realized a lot of them, and including like Peter Levels and stuff, that I got to know at this time, actually validated the process that I came to a conclusion to, like saying that shipping
That's
fast.
interesting. So I thought you had this idea from that, but you basically figured it out yourself by your own experience.
Exactly, my experience,
That,
exactly well said. My experience led me to this conclusion, and then I realized other people did it too, and that was for me like
yeah.
a super strong thing to know, because I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy to get convinced of this. Like it is a thing, and
You know,
many
that's
people
so
have.
important. That's why it's so important to have some community. Because if you're surrounded by people who do something not like you think you're crazy. You think it's not going to work. And when you see some other people and you think, oh, I'm not crazy, it can work. That's so important. That's so important. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, that was super good to know that, and yeah, strengthening even more my convictions. And so from this day, I started to ship like a product every month. So the first one was like a tweet search, because yeah, I was participating and contributing to the
Yeah.
Twitter community from this day that I found out.
50% of makers start with something like that,
Yeah,
you know,
right. I was
because
like,
we're like
a
on
product
Twitter, so
of
like, oh, I'm
Hindi
gonna do
hacker,
something
sorry.
for Twitter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And yeah, barely made any sales. So but that was okay. Like because I was super okay with this approach. Is like I'm actually not building a product. I'm like trying to validate if something can work or not for like four,
Yeah,
six
yeah.
weeks. So then I don't have time to get emotionally attached to that project, or that's not my baby anymore. Like
It's like dating.
first
Yeah,
one.
it's like Tinder for
Yeah, it's a speed
until you
dating.
find. until you find the right one.
Yeah, or that's more. So disclaimer, I barely use Tinder and stuff, but I didn't do speed dating neither. But I think it's even more closer to speed dating. Like you spend a little bit of time with all the project and you see where there is a fit, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's it.
it's really that. And yeah, so I
So
did
when
like,
did you find the fit? What was
I'm
the
not sure
thing
if
that made you think, because
I'm not
right now this thing is working a bit.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So definitely there's a stronger fit with this one. So basically it took me like 4 products launching like 4 to 6 weeks before I launched Blogbuster, which is that
yeah.
SEO content automation tool that I'm fully focused on now. And
And
that has
how did you know that there was a fit? How did you say to yourself, "Oh, this is it"?
with revenue. That's the only metrics I was looking at, to be honest, is like, is that making sales and revenue or not? And are people paying
And
for
so
it?
how quickly did you get revenue? Like how did you feel like
So I took like
how
a bit more than 4 or 5 weeks to build it, and then I launched. So when I first launched, I totally mispriced it, and then I changed my approach. It was like too expensive, right? Because I
yeah.
priced it the price of all my competitors who had like months of operations and clients and stuff ahead of me. So I'm like, okay, no, I'm gonna totally readjust, and I did a launch offer, and I made the price like such a no-brainer that
Mm.
in my mind, so yearly plan, and I'm like, if someone is interested by the product and by the offer and the value proposition, it's a no-brainer. So if you're
Yeah, you
interested, you have to buy it. And if you
yeah,
are
yeah.
not interested to buy it for such price, then it definitely means there is no need for this product and there's no fit. So I
Yeah.
started with that and I made like the first 10 sales in 1 week on that no-brainer
Mm.
price. So I'm like, okay,
Good.
we are up to something that's good. Actually, people yeah, want to use it and are willing to pay some amount for that. So that's cool. And then the great things unlock when you start having your first users. You know that, like, you get feedback, you discuss with them, you build a roadmap hand in hand with your first users based on what they
And
need.
then you realize the value you provide, and you realize you can make it more expensive
Yeah, right.
usually,
So
because
after
you're
that,
like, oh, they actually like this. Oh, it's not just because it was cheap. They actually want this.
yeah,
You know.
exactly. And I was getting like super good feedback, and it was like one of the first time that I had like good feedback, not about the product design and UX. I was always making good looking product, but first time people told me like, wow, it's actually helping me a lot for my business, and
Yeah,
oh,
which
that's
is much
exactly
more
what I needed.
valuable. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely. And so that was the first ever feedback I received like this. So I'm like, okay, something's different with this project in a good way. So I kept on going and I increased the price after the launch promo, but still at a discounted price. I had no sales for like 4 or 5 days while increasing to the new price. So I'm like, okay, this is over. It's so over after 5 days no sale. Like, people were
Give it
willing to
some
buy
time.
when it
Yeah.
was like so cheap. But now that I priced it, it's over and stuff. And then first sale start to kick in, and then I got much more, and then it kept on going regularly. So I'm like, wow, okay, so new price is validating. I stay on this price for quite a while, and now I'm like more at a mature price because the product has evolved a lot since as well, with a lot of new
Amazing.
features, a lot of new
Can you
stabilization on the
show us
core.
a bit?
Yeah,
Can
of
you show us
course.
around a bit?
So let me share that. Or are you feeling, is your lunch digestion kicking
Yeah,
or?
no, it's okay. It's actually getting at the end of it. But I think it's so cool that you figured it out with your own experience. This thing of,
Thanks.
and it's cool because when I hear you, because sometimes people who just do ship fast, they do it in a very dogmatic way, but not really knowing why.
Hmm.
And you have a clear reason why you're doing this. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
really,
I've been through all
really
the
interesting
phases
to hear
and
you. Yeah. Can
and
you
so on.
close this small Riverside window? Because
Yeah.
sadly it's recording it.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's go.
cool.
So this is how Blockbuster is looking today. So as I mentioned, is like a SEO automation tool. So the first step, once you onboard, you just have to put your website URL, and automatically it will fetch all your website information with AI. So basically your description of the business and activity, your target audience. That is very important. So then all the article will be targeted to be relevant for your
Yes.
audience. The location, if you have any specific benefits, the tone of voice that you use, and also the internal links. Everything is done automatically. Internal links is quite
But you,
important because it will contribute to the internal linking, which is the way to add automatically links to other pages of your website, which with each blog article. That's one of the best practice for SEO article.
oh, I see. Yes. So
Yeah.
when you generate the articles, it would automatically create some links to your other pages.
Right,
Oh, I
based
see.
on
That's really smart.
what are the most relevant pages, based on the article context
Yeah.
and topics.
And so
So
it's generating automatically, but I see you can update it after, like you can
absolutely. So if you
edit
want to
it if
modify
you need.
anything, yeah, you can adjust anything you want and save. So you have control still, but it's just like a fast onboarding. And then we automatically provide you with a lot of topics that are custom made to the audience, and those topics will update every month with new topics based on the new
Mm.
keyword trends and the new also just live trends
So it's
around.
brainstorming the ideas for you and updating every month.
Absolutely. And so you have everything with the right keywords to highlight, the different key points to feature in the article and stuff.
And
But
how's the keyword research happening?
so we connect with the API, like data for SEO API. And so we fetch like the keywords at the onboarding with your website URL as well. And then we create the topics based on that. And so, yeah, first option is like you use the suggested topics that we provide you. But if you have also clear ideas in mind about what you want to write, you can just brief anything in that brief box, and that can go from one simple keyword, and or that can be like a much longer description. You can paste like even a
Mm.
report or client case study or data for your business or stuff like this, and it will generate an
Yeah, okay.
article based on that, but still keeping in mind all your business activity, your audience and stuff. And so from the topics or from the right brief box, you can either generate the article directly or schedule them, right? So when you schedule, it goes on that scheduler where you can basically build your content plan ahead. And so you can
Mm.
schedule for all the next days, weeks, months to come, the content that you want to create. And automatically, every day, it will auto-generate that blog article and publish it live to your website. For the publishing, we have like integration with WordPress, Shopify,
Wow,
Webflow,
awesome.
or API key if you use like a custom website or any other solutions. And also a very cool thing I feel that it's actually used by already 30% of our users is that hosting tab. So not sure if hosting is the best word, but basically if you don't have a blog, we can create a blog section for you for free as part of the subscription.
That's awesome. Because to be
LaunchDay.
honest, I don't want to set up a blog. It seems boring. And you would just create it in a subdomain.
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely.
Cool.
So you could have like today, tomorrow, blog.itslaunchday.com, and then you can change your logo. You can choose the theme that you would like your blog to look like. We have 5 different themes, and you can adjust like the colors to make it yours, the font, and all the buttons like call to actions, header, footer links. So you can really easily personalize everything for your blog, provide the basic like super well. You don't need more.
Yeah.
And if you do that, the cool thing is like everything is managed only through Blogbuster. You can
Yeah.
manage your blog customization and all your articles and scheduling from there.
And
And
so I'm gonna roast you a bit and ask you a hard question. I
okay.
saw one guy who said he generated thousands of blogs for his website and it increased his ranking, and then he got penalized by Google. It was AI, but it was also
Oh yeah.
programmatic
Oh
SEO.
yeah, it was programmatic SEO. I saw this tweet actually. Not sure exactly what happened there because I used daily blogging for all my previous projects. So since the first one at MetaBay, I know that SEO was always one of the strongest driver of traffic for me and for all of my project. And
And
even when
even
I
with
started,
AI content.
yeah, definitely. And when I started like
Okay.
the 6 weeks max project, I always used SEO and AI to create like the blogs. I also did programmatic SEO heavily, and every time it was the number one source of of traffic. And so that's why I got the idea of doing Blockbuster because it was working so well for my other project. I'm like, okay, I found something, I cracked something for my business, so I'm gonna make
Yeah,
it a
yeah.
product, right?
Yeah, because that's very tempting, to be honest. Yeah, I want to try it.
Yeah, and
That
for
looks
my
cool.
latest product as well, I did some programmatic SEO. It was called like Easy Chef. I'm actually trying to sell this one. Not
Okay.
not a lot, but still selling. And yeah, and
Ah,
every
yeah.
day there's like
B2C apps.
AI.
All these
Yeah,
B2C apps. We know.
so yeah, every day there's like new recipe right pages like this that are created by AI, published automatically, and four times a day, and that is driving insane traffic on
But
autopilot.
dude, yeah, but like, did you check the recipe? Is it any good? It's like AI generated recipe? Man, it's so
Yeah, I
scary,
checked
dude.
with the
Oh my
first,
God.
so not all of them. We must have around like 3,000 recipes by now.
Oh my God.
I absolutely didn't check all of them, but I did some heavy testing and checked very precisely the first ones. I mean, the first 100 ones, and it was super good, super relevant. Actually good. We can check it out like live, but I was
It's
impressed.
just like I think AI could have a bug and say to add some poison or shit. That
So
sounds
I spend like hours and hours prompting like crazy. Sometimes it's not like wrong, but sometimes it's a bit odd. Like sometimes it will give you like
yeah.
chili crab for breakfast or stuff like this.
Oh my God.
You don't really, not sure if that's gonna be like the most bestseller recipe, but at least it's not like crazy stuff. Like nothing can go wrong. So yeah, and same for Blockbuster. Actually,
That's
one of our
interesting.
main competitive advantage is like the quality of the article, and I can show one. And I spent myself like hours and hours and hours, hundred of hours of prompting, and still to this date, I always try to improve the product, make it better, add some more features that could make it even standing higher in the rankings. And so every article comes with custom images. So those are AI images as well. You get the right structure with the different H1, H2, H3. You get some list titles for all articles. You get the internal linking we're talking about. So still a few images, some tables in all articles, and some external
You know,
links.
I like it. My previous startup, Logology, we were starting a blog, but we were doing everything ourselves, so we were never writing anything because it was so long to write high quality articles.
Mhm,
And now I think there's room for both. Like it makes sense to have some, let's say, more generic articles generated by AI
mhm.
to like cover like a wider base of keywords. And then maybe like the some like sometimes you can make like a custom one, like that's very unique article if you need. I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah,
good to have
absolutely.
like both
You can
strategy.
do both. We got some clients that are more hands-on on the article that really want to add their personal touch, and I think it's a good thing to make it even more human. So yeah, it's the combination of both AI and human is what's working best anyway. But a lot of customers, and myself included, I actually just let it go fully on autopilot. Don't go rewrite anything, and still it brings results. So that's great. Also, we made a lot of efforts to make it sound very human, as much as an
Yeah, it
AI.
does look quite good. Yeah, I agree. When I read it,
There's no like in this
it looks.
fast-paced world or like stuff like this.
Yeah, yeah, it's not.
No,
It's not bullshit. I don't see any M dashes. I don't see
exactly.
any of the AI telltales. And it's like I'm just gonna read for people just listening. I'm just gonna read a little bit. You can show
Okay,
one, please.
sure.
Like foundational keyword research beyond translation. Before you adapt your content, you must first understand the language of your new market. This means digging into how local audiences actually search, not just how you think they do. Yeah, so like it sounds more human. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a generic ChatGPT thing.
And it asks
Yeah,
questions to the reader sometimes and stuff. So it's really basically when you go with Blockbuster,
yeah,
it's like for the full autopilot flow where you can go from like autopilot scheduling to publishing to your website in a few clicks. And also the article quality that is that we worked or really our ass off to make it like super efficient in terms of SEO and super good in terms of reading as well for
yeah.
any human being. So yeah, that's
It looks awesome.
and
Yeah,
of
it
course, if
looks
you
really
want to
cool.
edit, we have the editor directly built in Blockbuster. So if you are more hands-on, which is good, and you want to adjust, change everything, you can do that. You can even regenerate the images with AI or upload your own. So yeah, you get also the full built-in editor.
Yeah, that's like giving you an amazing first draft that is good to go, but you can also change it if you want.
Yes,
Well,
that's
that's awesome, man. Cool. Cool. Yeah, that's why I wanted you in because I think it can be so useful. At least for me, I mean, for my previous product, it would have been so useful. So I think we're at the stage now where AI can be actually valuable and not just like
Mhm.
scammy or anything. And I think it's really cool. So I'm really glad that
Well, Dago,
you're in this launch day.
if you're interested, there's gonna be, I think, a nice discount coming up soon for Blockbuster, so feel free to use it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the goal. I'm squeezing everybody who comes to launch day to give the best discount ever.
Yeah, but
So
that's
yeah,
cool. I mean, that's fully part of the business model. As I mentioned in a previous tweet, I think it makes sense. It's really a mix of like, yeah, a product hunt and an app sumo. And it's really
yeah,
that angle I feel personally between both that brings
yeah,
something
yeah.
unique and makes sense. So yeah, kudos. I was sold.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you're in this launch day. And yeah, I hope it goes awesome for you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Enjoyed a lot. Cheers.